The announcement came this week, quietly, without fanfare. The New Orleans event scheduled for June 25-28 at City Park's Bayou Oaks is off, postponed indefinitely. LIV Golf, the league that promised to revolutionize the sport, just canceled its first event of the 2026 season. The official reason? Peak summer heat. A crowded global sports calendar. The World Cup. But nobody believes that. The real story is much darker. Louisiana paid $3.2 million for this event. Now, the state wants its money back. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, which has bankrolled LIV to the tune of $5 billion in losses, is reportedly pulling the plug. And the golf world is asking the same question. Is LIV Golf on the verge of collapse? This is Golfio. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The New Orleans event was supposed to be a statement. For months, LIV Golf had been planning a takeover of the Crescent City. The tournament was scheduled for June 25-28, 2026 at City Park's Bayou Oaks, a course that had never hosted a professional event of this magnitude. The league had already secured a $3.2 million agreement with the state of Louisiana. They had promised to bring the biggest names in golf to the Big Easy. They had promised to inject millions into the local economy. They had promised a party that would rival anything the PGA Tour had ever produced. And then, without warning, it all fell apart. The announcement came on April 27, 2026. LIV Golf confirmed that the New Orleans event would not take place as scheduled. The official statement blamed anticipated peak summer heat conditions in the Gulf region and a crowded global sports calendar that includes the World Cup. The league insisted that the postponement was strategic and that they remained committed to bringing an event to the great golf community of New Orleans in the future. But the wording was careful. The qualifications were telling. In the future is not a date. Committed is not a contract. And peak summer heat is not a reason that anyone familiar with New Orleans believes, given that the city hosts festivals and sporting events year-round, including in the dead of summer. The real story, the one that LIV Golf did not want to admit, involves money. Louisiana had paid $3.2 million up front for the rights to host the event. That money was supposed to be an investment in tourism, in local businesses, in the city's reputation as a world-class destination. Now, the state is demanding that LIV return $1.2 million of that payment. The remaining $2 million, which was spent on course upgrades at Bayou Oaks, will stay in New Orleans. But the message is clear. Louisiana wants out, and they are not alone. To understand why the New Orleans postponement is such a big deal, you have to understand what has been happening behind the scenes at LIV Golf. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, which has bankrolled the league since its launch in 2022, is having second thoughts. According to multiple reports, the PIF is preparing to end its financial support after the 2026 season. The blank check that built the Rebel League has been closed. LIV has lost more than $5 billion since its inception. And now, the investors who wrote those checks are asking hard questions. The PIF's new 2026-2030 strategic vision, released last month, notably did not mention LIV Golf at all. Governor Yasser Al-Rumayyan has signaled a re-evaluation of investments, citing economic feasibility and regional conflicts. In plain English, the Saudis are tired of burning billions on a league that has never turned a profit. Into this chaos steps the New Orleans event. The postponement is not an isolated incident. It is a symptom, a canary in the coal mine, a sign that the league is no longer able to deliver on its promises. The irony is almost too perfect to ignore. Just weeks before the postponement, the PGA Tour announced that it was eliminating its own New Orleans event, the Zurich Classic, from the 2027 schedule. The tournament that had been a fan favorite for decades was being sacrificed in favor of bigger markets and bigger purses. LIV Golf saw an opening. They moved to fill the void. And then, they too failed. The result is that New Orleans, one of America's great golf cities, will have no professional golf in 2026. The Zurich Classic is gone. LIV is gone. The fans are left with nothing. And the only winners are the accountants who are tallying up the losses. The reaction from the golf world has been swift and brutal. Social media is flooded with memes, hot takes, and predictions of LIV's imminent demise. But the most telling reactions have come from the players themselves. Brooks Koepka was the first to jump ship. He returned to the PGA Tour earlier this year through the returning member program. Patrick Reed followed. Jon Rahm, Cameron Smith, and Bryson DeChambeau were offered the same path, but all three declined. At the time, they said they were committed to LIV. "I'm contracted through 2026, so excited about this year. Not planning on going anywhere," Bryson said. That was January. By April, everything had changed. The New Orleans postponement, the funding crisis, the secret meetings at the Masters. Bryson DeChambeau, who once seemed like the most loyal soldier in LIV's army, is now reportedly exploring a return to the PGA Tour. The players who remain are putting on a brave face. Sergio Garcia, when asked about the rumors, said, "We haven't heard anything. From what Yasir told us at the start of the year, he's behind us with a long-term project. There are always rumors, but I can't say more than what we already know." But actions speak louder than words. The fact that Bryson DeChambeau held secret meetings at the Masters suggests that he is not as confident as Garcia. He is preparing for a future where LIV golf does not exist. And if Bryson leaves, the league's credibility leaves with him. Rich Lerner of Golf Channel put it bluntly. "If Bryson DeChambeau is not signed by LIV, there's no future for that tour," Lerner said. That is not hyperbole. DeChambeau is LIV's biggest star. He is the face of the Crushers. He is the player who moves the needle. If he walks away, the league's credibility walks away with him. LIV Golf CEO Scott O'Neill has been trying to calm the waters. In an email to employees last week, he wrote that the 2026 season would continue as planned, uninterrupted, and at full throttle. He did not comment on the state of the company beyond this year. The silence has been telling. O'Neill also addressed the New Orleans postponement directly. "We made a strategic decision to postpone the New Orleans event," he said. "We have already secured enough funding to operate the 2026 season. We are focused on delivering for our fans." But the words do not match the reality. If the league has enough funding to operate the 2026 season, why did they cancel an event that was supposed to be a centerpiece of that season? If everything is fine, why are players holding secret meetings about leaving? If the future is bright, why is the state of Louisiana demanding its money back? The contradictions are piling up, and O'Neill's assurances are looking increasingly hollow. The remaining 2026 schedule is still intact. Virginia, May 7th to 10, Korea, May 28th to 31, Spain, June 4th to 7, the UK, July 23rd to 26, and Bedminster, August, are still on the calendar. But the question is not whether those events will happen. The question is whether they will matter. Without Bryson DeChambeau, without Jon Rahm, without the stars who made LIV appointment viewing, the remaining events will feel like exhibitions, minor league showcases. A reminder of what was lost, rather than a celebration of what remains. The fans are already voting with their wallets. Ticket sales for the remaining events have reportedly slowed. Sponsors are asking hard questions. And the players who once felt like revolutionaries are starting to feel like refugees. So where does LIV Golf go from here? What does the New Orleans postponement mean for the future of the league? Let me break down three possibilities. Possibility 1. LIV survives, but in diminished form. In this scenario, the PIF does not pull its funding entirely, but they scale back dramatically. The league goes from a global operation to a niche product. Fewer events, smaller purses, fewer stars. LIV becomes what the PGA Tour always said it was, a rival league that never quite lived up to its promise. The New Orleans postponement is the first of many. More events will be cut. The schedule will shrink. And the dream of a world where golfers play wherever they want, whenever they want, will fade away. Possibility 2. LIV collapses entirely. This is the scenario that everyone is talking about. The PIF pulls the plug after the 2026 season. The league runs out of money. The players are left scrambling. Some return to the PGA Tour. Others retire. A few try to start something new, but the experiment is over. LIV Golf, the league that was supposed to change everything, becomes a footnote in golf history. A cautionary tale about the limits of money and the power of tradition. Possibility 3. LIV is saved by a merger. This is the wild card scenario. The PGA Tour and LIV Golf after years of litigation and animosity, finally reach a deal. The best players from both tours compete together. The civil war ends, and LIV golf, in its current form, disappears. But its best ideas live on. Team golf, shorter events, more access for fans. The New Orleans postponement could be the catalyst for that merger. A recognition that neither side can win a war of attrition. A realization that the only way forward is together. My final take is this. LIV Golf is not dead yet, but the New Orleans postponement is a warning sign. The league is bleeding money. The players are getting restless. The sponsors are getting nervous. And the Saudi benefactors who made it all possible are asking hard questions. Something has to give. Whether that something is the league itself or just its ambitions remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The golf world will never be the same. This is Golfio. If you made it to the end of this video, you care about the real stories behind the game. Subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the moments that matter. And leave a comment below. Is LIV Golf finished, or will it find a way to survive? I will see you in the next video. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell.